Hey guys, Gabriel from Ungraceful today, and today I have another review for you of a figure that is again too big to fit in my light tent until I take it out of the box. So this, another Gurren Lagann figure. This is a Banpresto figure. It's from the Ichiban Kuji range, and it was released in 2009 as part of their sort of movie release. When Gurren Lagann's movie came out, they released this along with a Yoko Litner. And I believe this piece is far better than the Yoko Litner piece. Although it's not a bad Yoko piece compared to some of the other Yoko pieces, it's just not there. But this is, I think, one of the best value Gurren Lagann pieces on the market, considering the Revel Tech pieces are ridiculously expensive for what they are, and a quarter or so of the size. I recommend if you're looking at those Revel Tech pieces, you look at the sizes, because most of them are around 10 to 15 centimeters, and this is nearly 35, and quality is just as good. One thing I do want to mention before I forget is the drill for this figure is actually made out of vinyl, which is something I've never seen on a PVC figure. So let's take a quick look at the box and then we'll open them up, and this piece comes with some different configurations, so we'll take a look at each one. But before we end up talking too long, let's take a look at the box. So, sort of standard affair with our Banpresto logo, our Ichiban Kuji premium sticker up here, and our Gurren Lagann text. And again, obviously our big window. And then on each side we have this really cool drill window, and the camera will struggle to pick it up, but there is some text here mirroring this in sort of an imprinted sort of dark purple font, which is very sort of premium and high class. And then on the back we have some artwork photos of the figure in various poses and zoomed in various degrees, and again clone on the other side, and here at the top Gurren Lagann font and the Team Gurren logo, and nothing going on the bottom. So I'm going to open them up and we'll look at the configurations and the extra pieces you get with this piece. So all the pieces you get with this, and there's quite a lot. So the first thing you'll notice when you open it is you have two configurations. You have this straight pointing arm, or you can have him with the mounted drill, and vinyl is considerably light. I'll take a quick talk about this now, because once we put it on, I'll be able to tell we've got some nice detailing here with some sort of ball bearing things going on, nice painted, and some nice sort of indents to make it a bit more interesting, and there's some nice shading within the helix of the drill. Generally is very nice looking, considering the price you're paying for this figure, which is, it's about, I see in the market for about £120, £130 is sort of the place you see it mostly. It does sort of fluctuate a bit because Gurren Lagann is cult, things go up and down a lot, but this is actually one of those pieces which is quite cheap considering some of the price of the other pieces for Gurren Lagann, such as Yoko Litner and some of the other Kamina pieces. So this is quite cool. I don't know why anyone would choose to display with this over this. I suppose if you have a very little space, you'd choose to just have the pointing arm rather than the drill, but yeah, you'd be insane not to choose the drill. Then we have the two shoulder pads, which are both identical. Very nice sort of metallic gold Team Gurren logo. Single clip on the back. So obviously two of those, one for each shoulder. And then we have this pair of glasses to stick on the mech himself. And then you get a separate bag which has all these pieces in, and pretty much these are the pieces that make up the base, because obviously it's a big piece, there's a lot of weight going on. So you have the stand which you clip this into to hold them from the back, and this goes on the front, so we'll clip all that together and look at that a bit later. So this figure takes up a lot of space, you'll have to consider that, considering how large this base is overall. But we'll assemble him and we'll take a look. So here he is in the configuration which I think it'd be insane to use, but you know, I'd show it for the sense of fullness of the review. And a few notes. Obviously the heavy base, unnecessary during assembly. There is instructions on how to do it for the Giga Drill version on the top of the box lid, so make sure you don't throw away the box, or you might not know how to do it. So all those extra bits are exclusively for that. But I want to make a note that these shoulder pads, they have different joints, so there's DW one for the right and one for the left, and they are actually quite difficult to put in. You have to put quite some pressure on them to force them to go in. But as a kit, this pose, if this was the only version, I'd think it'd be a bit of an underwhelming figure, but because we have the other version, it makes up for it. So we'll get rid of this version, we'll build what I think is the proper version, and we'll have a talk about the figure. So here he is, and he's quite finicky to put together, and as you can see here, that's not straight, and it's simply due to the nature of the turntable that's got all these slight indents in it. that I can't click it quite into place when it's not on a flat surface, at least not without putting too much pressure on it for me to feel comfortable doing it. So obviously it's quite big, it hits the top of my light tent. We'll talk about that in the measurements in a minute, but let's talk about the impressions. First off, the red paint, really good. It's a nice sheen, sort of car finish kind of that you'd expect in a car or any other automobile. It's just very sort of how you would imagine it in real life to look. It's got an incredibly nice shiny look, and it looks very premium, very well done. And pretty much everywhere that I have looked at, there is no paint overlap anywhere. There is, as you can see, some slight battle damage, but obviously that's deliberate. But that's the only place you'll see sort of colours where they may not look like they're meant to be. All the colours really well done, and I think the thing that brings this piece together the most is just the overall size and atmosphere it brings with it. It's going to be definitely one of those pieces people will notice straight away when looking at your collection. I have very little negative to say about the sculpt. There's a couple of places sort of in the teeth and things where I think it could be improved, just with sort of slightly sharper lines, and that's kind of it. I don't have much negative to say. It's a pricey piece, but you get a lot of bits with it, and it's quite large, and it really does encapsulate Gurren Lagann as a piece, and I can only think of one other piece on the market that captures it like this, and it's an incredibly rare piece, which I will be talking about in the future. But I think this is, for Gurren Lagann lovers, this is the go-to piece for the mecha, if you're looking for one. I would usually be giving it a spin at this moment, but it's incredibly shaky, and I feel like it's just a waste of time because I'm going to constantly be knocking it over until I can click it finally all into place when it's flat. But everything involved in the building, although not, it's very simple to put together, it all needs quite a lot of pressure, so you're going to have to maybe go outside your comfort zone a bit and really put some effort into making sure it all goes together and clicks in, because it will go in, but it won't click in. You have to make sure you click everything together, but make sure you're careful with that. But very little complaints, especially the face. Let's take a quick look at that. Obviously the light is a bit darker, and it doesn't look as good on camera as it does in person, but that's done really well. It's not very big, it's probably no bigger than 1.5-2 centimeters in size, and all very clean, all very well sculpted. Definitely a big ups to whoever sculpted this. It's completely slipped my mind. I'll link to my figure page in the collection so you can check it out, all the information there. But everything on the sculpting, especially the shoulder pads I showed you earlier, those were done really clean, really nice, paints done, almost perfect. I have damn near no complaints, other than the assembly is a bit tricky. So we'll now do some dimensions and size comparisons. So pretty much all our size comparisons are going to be based around the drill itself. Now, obviously we've hit the top of the light tent. It's pretty much 37 centimeters, but on my figure collection it states 35, but that's definitely significantly over. Now the widest point is actually his feet, because his feet are quite widespread to obviously support this load. So he is about 15 centimeters wide, which is just shy of 6 inches. And his depth is from the clear part of the base, which is supporting the drill, is about 19 centimeters in depth. So again, he's going to take up quite a lot of real estate, so bear that in mind for your collection. So let's put him next to some other pieces so you can get just an idea of how big this guy is. Here he is on the delve shelf by himself, and usually I'd say a figure this big would take up a delve shelf by himself, but the mech himself isn't actually that big, so I feel like he'd be best supported with another character here, possibly another version, or a smaller version of Gurren. Here he is next to 1/8 Jotaro Kuji, obviously you can see it, 1/8 Jotaro is actually, his head is higher than this guy's head, but obviously they've taken into mind, probably what I imagine that they have taken into mind that people put these in Death Elves, and have had to scale him down to get the drill sort of the right proportions to be true to the show, which is why Gurren Lagann himself is a bit smaller. And here he is next to 1/6 Jotaro Kuji, who is the other biggest figure in my collection. I can see Gurren's got a good couple of inches on him. And for the sake of completeness, here he is next to the Emon Toys recently released Kamina. I figured I'd do my final thoughts in the Detolf along with Cameron, just because honestly he is such a pain in the arse to move. I think that's my biggest criticism. is he's a real big pain in the ass to move, but that's because he's such an ambitious project. They've had to make these large stands, make sure they can support the large drill. There's is an incredibly ambitious, and we're glad they've done it because a show like Gurren Lagann deserves, I think, something this sort of impressive and out there. I think it just suits. I have no complaints about the paint or the sculpt. I think it's all done amazingly. And honestly, I'm not even that bothered by the stand, although it is quite visible. You are so distracted by the massive drill and him himself that most people probably won't notice it, especially if you've got a couple of other figures around the case. I guess you could complain that the way this is done, it looks slightly cartoony, but it's going along and it's sort of, that's the point. It's a very cliche parody anime and very shading with effort. There is clearly effort put into sculpting of the drill. It looks, I think, really good in this light. And honestly, you're just looking for things to complain about. The faces mentioned earlier, both the faces are done really well, and we've got nice contrast between the blues, the yellows, the red, and the shiny glossiness of the red is something I haven't seen in an anime figure before, and I think it looks great. So that's kind of wrapping up. I think if you can get it at a good price, it's definitely something worth picking up, but obviously it takes up a lot of real estate, so you have to sort of plan where you're going to put it and what you're going to do with it. I think for now I am going to leave him next to my Kamina, although I had planned to give Kamina a shelf to himself. I feel like this is a real nice look. And with that, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And a quick side note, some of the more observant of you may have noticed, but earlier, I am wearing a Collectorverse t-shirt, and if you don't know what the Collectorverse is, I highly recommend you go check it out. It is the website for content creators and people involved in the figure, statues, Nendoroid, pop figure, you name it. Buy a damn hot toy, for God's sake. Everything, all those members of the community are welcome there, and I highly recommend you check out both their YouTube channel and the site. All my videos go up there, and it's just a great group, great family of people who are all passionate about their hobby, so I highly recommend you check it out.